Alright, so we're starting outside the game for this session because I do believe there's like a recap mechanic, and that's always neat. Also, what volume are we at? Let's be careful here. Alright. Inkle. The story so far. Aliya and her robot, 6, have found the smoking wreck of Janiki's Renba's ship, along with the final message intended for Professor Mayari. The roboticist was looking for an ancient observatory called the Vault, which he claimed could prevent a great darkness from overtaking the Nebula. Meanwhile, Aliya has found something else. What might be the lost crown of the Holy Empire, hidden alongside a crude map pointing to an unknown moon. Surely Aliya should return to Iox to tell Mayari about Renba's death. I wish people would say that name out loud in the voice acting that barely exists more, because boy do I just panic about how to pronounce it. Iox. I think it's gotta be Iox, right? Iox. Listen, this game has almost no voice acting. I have to just guess. It doesn't matter if they said it once. That doesn't mean I instantly internalize it. But anyway, I wish more games had this. You gotta strike a careful balance, because this is a mystery game, so you can't fill this screen with definitive information that would contradict any of your possible interpretations of the vague information. But it is good to like have a recap of some kind. I wish more games had a recap thing built in whenever you came back to it, because that there's two things. It refreshes details you might have lost track of between sessions, because nobody beats most games in one sitting, because we are people with lives, and also games are often longer than you even would be awake for one day in many cases. But also it helps like signify which stuff you were supposed to remember. Like it reintroduces the most relevant bits, and also maybe even corrects things you might misremember over time. Thinking back to like moments like in our Phoenix Wright playthrough when we were wrong about the papers being in the statue thing, and like we keep repeating this incorrect information to ourselves over and over again, and we keep getting that wrong. It's like, well, the game's never going to correct us. It doesn't come up again. So you ever get really frustrated when a Let's Player gets a detail wrong for a very long time? Sometimes it's because, well, you might be mentally correcting people, and you might be thinking about it a lot. But if the correction never comes up in the game, then they're not going to ever change their mind. That kind of thing. Whoa. That startled me a little bit, but it's the same thing. But anyway, we are now here. It says we should sell to Iox. Nope. Instead, we went to our home.
Landed in the dust, outside the great walls of Elboreth. No one looked up to watch us arrive. The people here only ever look down.
So this is Elboreth. This was your home. This is my home. I have seen little but Iox, mistress. This is not like there. Are you so sure you understand Iox? You've only just been activated. I've been there 10 years, and I don't understand the place properly. Dirt, mistress, is dirt. Iox does not have it, and Elboreth does. How does a planet not have dirt? Good faith to you. Yes. How goes things? All fire and no smoke, as they say. Thank you. Be well. Oh, is all fire and no smoke a good thing? Actually, I've heard of that phrase, I believe, but I didn't parse what it meant necessarily. It sounds like it's supposed to be a good thing. What exactly is a cat kiss, mistress? But as a recap, we came here because Renba kind of warned us not to trust Miari, so I kind of went on with our journey of let's identify stuff and visit old friends of our protagonist and see what they can tell us about what's going on, because that was the other lead. It's the name of the inner citadel, but I'm not sure what it means. The harvest, such as it is, dried grass, waiting to be taken inside. What is it for? I assume people do not eat it. Animals do, but not people. People aren't animals. Indeed. Can I go up there? This must have all been very fine once, but it seems to be decaying. You don't think that's a bit dramatic? I do not know, mistress. All I know is what I see. Hello, strange dead end. They're letting us go surprisingly deep in these directions. I did not think this tangent would let me go this far. Who is Oroi, mistress? An old friend. There's something under here. There's something here. A broken, short-stemmed key. Looks like it dates from at latest, the earliest days of the Empire. Looks like there's something carved along the barrel. The precision required for this. This is the end of a line of text. Well, definitely not that. That one's in here. I believe you are correct with keep, mistress. Oh, and me. Wow. I'm so good at this. I'm convinced of me as well. Keep me safe, strong, defended. Near. Maybe near. So we're sure about holy. That's interesting. I'm trying to parse why these are related words. I think it's because there's X's in death and fear. And there is the little curve and dot in holy. I don't know if I'm not entirely sure if I've put together that much of the language yet. I'm not entirely sure there about like how to parse the grammar of it. I'm kind of just comparing similar symbols. Like I think I know what a person looks like when they're referring to a person. So here we have the thing at the beginning of holy. I believe that little like hook shaped thing is a person. The one that has legs, anyway. There is a normal hook on the far right of fear, I guess. Fear has just so many characters. It seems like a lot. just gonna go with near. Keep me near makes sense for a key. These all make sense, honestly, though. But I don't think I have a good connection to draw yet. Keep me near. I don't think we've seen anything equivalent to this broken key before. I think she's kind of remarking on how strange that character is. Which means it must have originated on a site that's entirely new to us. Must be from an entirely new site. It's a little funny to me that she's just kind of finding stuff on the ground. Just going. Oh, kind of got stuck. Good faith to you. Ballard. How are the crops? Well enough, thank you. Walk with me. Walk with the goddess. Oh, got so many... Or die on Iox, I don't care. It doesn't matter how often I come back here. Once you've left, no one allows you to return. Damn. Or die with the... on Iox for all I care. Brutal. That was very goofy that, like, 3 of the same person were on the screen at the same time, though, all of a sudden. Suddenly, duplications of her were all over the place. It was just one hell of a camera angle the game gave me there. You know, this was the telegraph thing of what to do next and stuff, but I should actually check to see if it even opens. This way. Oh, it is. Oh, and she's going. This is the gate to the upper citadel. Mistress, there is only solid rock behind this door. What does that mean? Ah, I comprehend. It is a hopper. This is one of the oldest things on Elboreth. It still works, amazingly. I cannot see the eye, mistress. Without a line of sight to the eye, I cannot take us inside. What is a hopper eye? The eye is a focus, mistress. Nothing more. It receives and reparticulates the hopper signal. Think of it as a funnel into which the sands you are being poured. I must assume the gate contains the hopper source. There must be a comparable gate above fitted with an eye. So who makes hoppers? Where do they come from? Where do I come from, mistress? Or the moons, or the rivers. Where does anything come from? I assume you have used the gate before? You sound like you don't trust me. A hopper takes one's corporeal form to pieces, mistress. Trust is critical. You can stay here if you like. Just stand back when I ask it to let me through. The idea is appealing. But not to my ethical core, mistress. I will stay with you. We don't have to go inside. if you don't want to. I mean, most of the city is in there. But if I don't say the word, nothing will happen. What is the word, mistress? I'm not going to just say it. The gate is listening. Ah. A fair point, mistress. We'll visit another time, 6. Alright, well that gives me a priority. Or that gives me a goal. Because I'm pretty sure that what we're here to do is in there. But I do have to have this whole spot to check out. I'm all curious about that. Stone feet. The slums below are named after these feet. They're the oldest things here. The original statue must have been huge. Bigger than the statue on Mercy? 4 or 5 times bigger, mistress. But it must be of a similar age, however. But you know, the statue on Mercy didn't have feet. I never thought it might be unusual before. This way, 6. It's getting really hard to...
The smell of the slums made me feel like a child again. It hadn't been a happy time. A simple one, at least.
It's been a bit of a struggle, but every now and then it's very hard to follow the conversations because the there's not a visible line connecting it to a character sometimes, and sometimes the camera angle that it cuts to, you can't even see the characters, and the two... This is a carryover from the conversations that happen when you're driving too, is that the two of them don't speak in different fonts or colors or anything, which would be honestly really helpful, because sometimes you're just like, I can't tell which one of them's talking. Like, you can only retroactively parse which one's talking, and sometimes even that'll be a little tough. I'm a little surprised it's not like just kind of a robot-y font, like a more rigid font for the Android, just to give you a bit more to go with there. Do not touch anything, mistress. These structures might topple at the slightest knock. That's good advice. Watch how you drive, 6. Indeed, I shall. Were the statue on Mercy and the other here in the same place? Based on their mineral compositions. It is quite possible, mistress. I will consider the matter.
The heart of the God's Feet slum was Timor's bar.
Why now? Aliya Elasra.
Never once set foot inside the upper citadel, or so he liked to claim.
By the turning of the waters. You're back. You seem surprised. I'm always surprised you come back to Elboreth. But happy.
He was the king of the dung heap.
And are you well? This is suddenly the most voice acting we've had, like, ever. It is neat, though. Like, I find it interesting that the, what was I gonna say? There's a really interesting conversation system here we're going on where it kind of picks up and drops off. Like, you'll notice that we started talking about the statue, but I interrupted the statue talk by doing the zone transition, basically. And then the statue conversation just kind of picked back up where it left off, like at the branch, essentially. And I think there was kind of a moment where you can kind of tell that it was stopping to finish playing a line before it then let me do the location transition, because it was trying to like finish up that little arc. And that stuff's just kind of it's interesting seeing the technology going on there, how they try to juggle that, because to some extent it feels safer to be interrupted in this game. Whereas, which is good, because this is a game that encourages you to walk and talk. Like, that's most of the game, is you walking and talking, and hopefully not just standing still. Like, I kind of learned that lesson on the first planet, where I started standing still for a long time, waiting for the conversation to end, worried that I would trigger something, which is reasonable, because there was a dude right there waiting to talk to me. But you kind of do just flow between the observational and, like, interactive conversations of the environment and the level you're in, and the background chatter you're having with your android going back and forth, and like those just kind of interweave naturally in an interesting way. It's like a bit like if you were playing Disco Elysium and you were able to walk around and interact in real time while Harry and Kim were chatting the whole time, which they do most of the game, but that game completely freezes whenever a conversation's happening. And so in this one, it's like, what would you do if you were, you know, actually interacting while these characters chat? Like, they would be multitasking and even dropping, like, they would even understand the idea of, like, a thing coming up and commenting on the thing that came up mid-conversation, then going back to where they left off in the previous conversation. Like, that's a thing real people do. And it's shockingly rare to see implemented in any way in a game. I'm sure it's not flawless, but I've seen it done much worse. Like, I've seen very strange cases of games being like, anyway, where was I? And then they awkwardly just start replaying the exact line of dialogue that was cut off halfway through by something, which is admittedly still better than what other games do, which is that you'll start having an ambient conversation, then get interrupted by some kind of event where you cross a scripting gate or something, and then you just lose that conversation forever. It just like, well, that conversation's canceled. Gonna go ahead and just never play it again. Oh well. Alright. And are you well? They gave me another robot. Really, Aliya? You are a danger to the local economy. Some of us have to work for our assets. I don't think I'm going to sell this one. Mistress? But you've upset it, Aliya. But all the same, the rules are the rules. Your friend there stays outside. I will wait as instructed, mistress. They must adore you on Iox to keep giving you those things. The robots are their eyes. And you keep plucking them out. You'll always be a rat, won't you? Yeah. I heard something out there about a darkness. Something that would fall across the whole nebula. Oh, yes. Did you hear that in the war rooms of Iox? I cannot make my mind up. Do you know what it means? No. No, I don't. A great darkness is a luxury for Ioxians to fear. Here, we worry every night. Why don't you like robots? They don't buy drinks, do they? Your very good health. You should let me pay for this. You'll pay me back one day. I feel sure of that.
They say rocker is made from river water, that it burns your throat with the cold of space. But it isn't true. Timor locks it up out back in an old metal bin.
It's not the robots I mind, you know. It's the way they're always listening. A person should be free to say the wrong thing sometimes. A man should say what he means to say. You're hard on me, Aliya. Although, you know, anytime you want to move back to Elboreth, the camera cutting while you're reading is wild. You're like, ugh, where did I find my home again? Timor, I'm never going to marry you. You need to stop asking. I know you won't. That's why I ask. Maybe one day I'll say yes to spite you. Now, you shouldn't tease an old man. Especially one with a solid income, good teeth, and assets.
He liked me.
Assets. You want another raka? Hit me. I've got nowhere to be. Here. Do you know anything about my parents, Timor? I sometimes think if anybody would, it would be you. Aliya. The first I heard of you was when I asked the orphanage for grape pickers. You were so desperate to get out of that place. And then you hid when the Grey Ladies came to get you. I remember. I don't like him asking to marry me if we met from him bringing me out of an orphanage. That just feels like quite a gap. Aroy hid too. But she was too tall. Her feet stuck out from behind the barrel. She didn't really want to hide. She knew it was a game. You looked like a cornered rabbit when we found you. I cried all the way back. I'm sure you did. You don't cry as much these days, do you? Not so much. Perhaps you did enough. If I was such a child to you, Timor, why do you keep asking me to marry you? Why don't you just adopt me if you want me to be safe? Aliya, marriage is not just about... I would never touch you, you understand that. Find a woman your own age, Timor. There must be some. I do not want a woman, Aliya. I want to help you. You do help me. You always have. You don't need to marry me to be my friend. You are an orphan. I cannot adopt you. I could claim to be your father, but the ladies in gray know that I am not. But when I die, my children are gone. They want no part in what I have. I want to leave it to someone who deserves it. I'm sure your children love you, Timur. After my wife died, no, I do not think they love me. And I think I should allow them that. I respect you, Aliya, I do. You've always known your own heart. Most of us have to see it broken before we know its shape.
I had my first taste of rocker when I was 8.
Oh!
I didn't pay for it that time either.
Bit of a head start. How about some good news then? I have something for you. A blunted sword. I think it dates from the Empire. The crosspiece has been inscribed too. Everything somehow leads to a relic. This is the start of a fragment of text. There's something funny about, if we compare this game to Outer Wilds, there's something funny about how easy it is to find these texts, apparently. Especially given that we seemingly started from scratch at discerning the language. Like, we didn't start with any kind of existing words. So despite the fact that she's known for doing this, we start from scratch with our dictionary, I guess, is the word I'm trying to use. Our dictionary doesn't have any existing words in it at the beginning of the story, which is a bit odd if that's what she's known for doing. The stuff that goes here. And that goes here. My translation, follow, has to be wrong. I just don't get what this little dash means. I'm always wrong. That's a long one. But I fear it's correct. Ah, I got fear right. That's interesting. Let's try something. I do find it goofy how easily she finds more relics constantly that have more inscription on them. Like, when I get in the middle of town and the well has old writing on it, that's not that big of a surprise. But her just picking stuff up off the ground, like that key, I'm like, what? It's just lying around and nobody cleared it or noticed it, and it happens to have more ancient writing, even though you're dealing... Although I guess the Ioxians are not... They don't believe in history, but that doesn't mean that everyone else feels that way. But I'm just like, it's impressive how easy archaeology is in this game. But at the same time, like, I get it, it's a video game. I'm not wishing for a more tedious version of the game, but it does just make it funny when stuff just keeps popping up. So this probably means and. Oh yeah, if that means again, then and is similar to again in some ways, but also just being a little squiggle to mean and makes a lot of sense, because it'd be like a shorthand sentence. Can you tell I'm can you tell that I studied geology and my total lack of knowing what to call things ever? Like, it's there's just types of words like of and that are just extremely functional, and you use them constantly, and they're short and they're versatile. And so being easy to write would be good. You would not want the word like is to look like the word fear over there, because you're going to use that word constantly. Or the. Like, you would not want the to be hard to write or say because of how much it comes up. That'd be deeply frustrating. I'm not a linguist or anything, but it does seem like that's vaguely true. Like, whenever I pick up little tiny bits of Japanese, it always seems like there's always like the really functional stuff is like, that's really would come up a lot, is like noticeably like super short. So something in fear, power and fear, operation. Do you think this means and? Watch and fear, operation and fear, power and fear, music and fear. Probably power and fear, but we'll see. Does have like an up arrow? Power and fear. I'd guess that this comes from the same site as the charred page. The one I found in the hideout moon. This will make its location easier to locate. Where did you get the blunted sword? One of my customers. You're not the only one who sails to strange shores, you know. What do I do with that information? I guess we're kind of done talking. I enjoy that oop. You're visiting the Catkiss today? What does that word mean, Catkiss? I'm not sure exactly. It's very old. Kiss is usually a word for king or leader. The laborers call the people who hire them my kiss. I wonder if this is like an abandoned site of like the Emperor? Like this could be where the Emperor was, like an old kingdom that's been abandoned from the old days and now is just kind of the ruins are still useful. The teleporter was once upon, like the password was tied to it being for the Emperor or something, and now it's just a thing people use all the time for funsies. Yeah, I do like that we're getting into her past, and like, now that we've landed here specifically, we're at a place that's just dense with context for her. And we can kind of expand the world here. I'd better go. See you around, Timor. Sail safe. Come on, 6. Get out there to look for my friend again. We have a few new artifacts to trace. Perhaps we should return to the ship now, mistress. Don't hassle me. Where we going? I did not know we were... Why do people live like this? On top of each other. Oh, it took me back here. Interesting. I'm torn between wanting to rewatch that whole cutscene to walk all the way back, or think... I don't know if I was done. Maybe I was. I kind of went through the alleyway and came out the other side. That might have been the gist of it. I didn't really mean to leave. That's not the way I came, so I was not expecting it to transition back to where I came. Why do you think? We're squashed in. To get as much juice out of them as possible. Have you heard of inequality? Boy, do I have news, buddy. There are ancient symbols here. I used to trace them out when I was a girl. This is broken off. Something in prey. The squiggly thing must be and. Okay, so we've gotten that nailed. And prey must be right too. Okay. Sat. Sit and pray. Danger and pray. Open and pray. Enter and pray. Enter and pray makes sense if this was the entrance of a holy place once. All of the related words are ones that we don't have right, so that's worrying. Okay. The word banished looks like the word enter, if these are right. It has the same mountain with the waves, then dot, and then another mountain. And it has the same, like, double quote on the left and the same squiggle on the right, but there's a 6 between the slash and the mountain on the banished one, and there's an X between the other mountain and the S in the banished one, as if it's like the opposite, like to leave, or forced to always leave, or something. So that could be indicative that the term up there is the antonym to what we're looking at now, maybe, because they're weird similarities, which would make, in a way, arriving or entering, like, being banished is like a verb equivalent, or that's not the way to put it, because leaving is a verb, but like it is it could be a forceful antonym to enter, of sorts. Enter and pray. Was Elboreth a place for pilgrims? I didn't know that. That's a remarkable lack of knowledge about anything. What if I could convince the gate I'm a pilgrim? Set boyaki rafar. The gate is asking where you want to go. You can understand it? No, mistress, I am asking you a question. Set boyaki rafar. Well, that's the gate, not her. The gate word is the name of the upper city. But I think the upper city is named after the word. Katkis. Primenya mi eonyehua. Nothing's happening. Most impressive, mistress. Set boyaki rafar. Kibenya? Ieni hua sali katale. Ooh, that did something. The goddess's name worked. The gate thought I was a pilgrim. Interesting. I was hoping it would take her somewhere different than it would have normally taken, but it seems like it took her where it normally takes her. Because there's people here, at least. But that's interesting, though. She's learning new things about her own home. The idea that nobody even knows the past of this place is wild. Like, whether or not everyone else doesn't believe in the past or the cycles or whatever, they definitely lost it. This is the main courtyard. There are alleys leading off in all directions. It's easy to get lost up here. Time to wander around a big ol' place. Have you lost robots up here before, mistress? Number 3, perhaps. What makes you ask that? I will take that as a yes. There's doors that are open but not usable. I wonder what sign 3 left behind, maybe. Or if they're here right now. This gate's been locked as long as I can remember. I think the key must have been lost somewhere. Roy and I used to climb over it. They never just found a way to get it open for good. It really definitely reinforces the idea that everyone's just kind of squatting in a forgotten city. Its original purpose and people are lost, and so they just make do anyway and do what they want here. which is fine. It's just weird to not know the history of it or the function of a lot of it. Where are we going, mistress? Be quiet and keep up, Six. Can't go in there. I think it said Arroy is that way, so I'm gonna not go there. Good faith to you. Good faith. Tread softly. Tappy's shop. Let's go everywhere except my goal.
Strangers, the cat kiss is like a maze. But I'd spent 10 years tearing through these alleyways.
That is a long time.
I could have found my way to Tappy's in the dark.
Roy's that way again. There is a high probability of unsafety here, mistress. Don't worry, Six. I'll protect you. Your attitude betrays your fear, mistress. I will charge the hopper. Shouldn't be able to hopper, right? Because there's no one in sight. Whatever makes you happy, Six. Tappy's place isn't big, but inside, it's a treasure trove. Hold it. Oh. A lot of dark bags under people's eyes. But it's you. Welcome back to Elboreth, Moonflower. Give it back, Tappy. Whatever it is you took. I confess I only really saw the robot. But friends, as you know, are friends, so have your no doubt precious brooch back. That would have been bad to lose. Mistress. Do not trust this man. It's a bit late for a warning, Six. 12 years too late. I already don't trust him. You adore me instead. I prefer it that way. Now, come on in, out of the cold. It seems as though I will wait here. Suspiciously.
Tappy's place was a little museum to junk. Pots and boxes, spoons and hooks and pocket knives.
It's so good to see you back on Elboreth, Aliya. The rivers above grow dull when you're not with us.
And at the center of it all was Tappy, grinning away like a skull in a bodysuit.
And are you well? I am never dull. Listen, Tappy. I want to show you an artifact. Oh, yes. A blunted, holy Empire period sword with a serrated-edged blade. I could obtain that in an alleyway. And in decent condition, too. We weren't dealing with some gutter rat trader here. This is a silver telescope engraved with a depiction of a wing dating from at least the early Empire. I know you like devices. Interesting. I might be able to make you an offer. Yes, this is it. A sculpture fashioned from crystal. On it is an inscription. Whoa! This is one end of a fractured fragment of text. Hello. I guess it makes sense to trade things because the items themselves don't necessarily have value to her, but she can keep getting more of the language the more she trades. I'm certain my translation for every is correct now. I'm also sure of death. Damn, I have a good hit rate. I'm getting a lot more confirmations than declines going on. Every death, something, us something. Every death makes us weaker, stays us distant, stays us mine. Every death follows us mine away. Every death towards... Yeah, every death makes us weaker makes a lot of sense. Does every death makes us weaker work? I think this comes from the same source as the broken key I found before. So, if you've seen the merchandise, the sculpture for your telescope, new site indicated. Pre-Empire site. A lost city, perhaps? Don't know enough to find this site yet. It's off the map. I didn't know going off the map was even an option. How do you get over there? That's interesting. I don't know. Should I just trade stuff whenever the option's given? Do we have all of the information recorded for anything I have had before and don't need it anymore? Assuming... Like, it always could be, it could always happen with the, whatchamacallsums, the, just totally failed the sentence. Adventure game logic usually indicates that, like, these items could be used for puzzles or to solve something or to open something, so I'm always a little worried, but right now, I don't think I've ever used an item to do anything necessarily. We're just parsing the language, and so based on that, like, there's not much indication that one item's more valuable than the other one. Like, we are trading an item for an item. That new item could also be important, so maybe I should just make trades. You have a deal. I think this looks rather good here. It will take me some time to set up buyers for what you've given me, so... If there's more... Let me look another time, when my eyes have recovered. What about the crown? What do you make of this? By the stars and all the fishes... Aliya, I did not know you cared. Would you like to move in? You can have my room. I'll sleep down here. Sleep down here anyway. Look at this beauty. Do you know what it is? It's beautiful. I'm a very trustworthy curator, you understand. You should see some of the wonderful things I look after. Like this one. Here we are. Neat. Look at this glorious thing. It's enormous. I don't even know what it is. I found it just sitting in the grass by the Catechist gate like a fat, lost cat. Here. Thought maybe it was a child's toy. But who would make something so beautiful for a child? I don't see any inscriptions. I've been over it with my glass. I couldn't find any either. I was hoping you might twist here, squeeze there, and pop. No? Well, no matter. I'd rather you didn't break it. It moves? The circles rotate. They all rotate. You push one and everything rotates. Why would you want that? I don't know. You want me to find out where it came from? What a good idea. It's so unusual, I don't know who I'd find to trade it with anyway. Maybe if you find where it came from, you could let me know. Another one. Lost City, perhaps? I could sail around here and try to pick up more artifacts to uncover the site's precise location. Somehow getting more specific there. Are you happy with that robot of yours? I could probably adjust it a bit. Can you change the primary user? These things run off their cores, but I'm told you can swap them out fairly easily. Who told you that? A mutual friend. Anyway, bear it in mind, Aliya. That sounds like a bad idea because it sounds like a memory wipe. I think if the core is what they are based on and run by, then swapping it out probably just makes it a different robot. Functionally giving it a new primary user, technically, but also it's just a different robot at that point. Which, despite Aliya's treatment of the robots, I'm not really in a big hurry to kill one of them, so... Another thing, Tappy. Have you heard any rumors of sites? I could use a find. You know, I did hear something. Something out in the fields. Here? On Elboreth? That was what I heard. After all, isn't this where you found your pretty boat? Anyway, they say something sent one of the field workers flying through the air. This is what they say. What exactly did they say? That he hit something underground he shouldn't have. With a scythe. Was the man hurt? Oh, I should think so. He was taken straight back to the market, though. Didn't earn another scrap. Some jobs you can do with a broken arm, but you're no good for plowing. You've got some kind of angle here, Tappy. I tend to attract attention when I go for walks outside the walls. But no one's going to trouble you. You're from Iox. I'm from Elboreth. People from Elboreth don't have robot servants, my sweet. Be careful you don't get zapped yourself, of course. I tend not to attack my finds with scythes. No doubt, no doubt. That's interesting. My first reaction was like maybe he found a mine, because that's just kind of a realistic-ish thing that would cause that kind of problem in real life, but it might have been an electrical shock from hitting something, robot-y, ancient technology-y. Definitely something to follow up on if I get the chance.